Guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can see from the title of this video, I got a little bit of a story for you. And before I get into it, I wanted to say that, of course, this story has a couple of more gruesome details. And if you're squeamish or sensitive to that kind of thing, especially details including your eyes, I really suggest maybe not watching this video or watching with discretion. And with that being said, I'm going to start the story. So the date was June 22nd, 2016. I was working at a factory, and I had to wear steel-toed shoes. And the steel-toed shoes were at the point like that they were talking, like the bottoms weren't holding on. And steel-toed shoes are very, very expensive. It's not like a pair of running shoes, like $30 you can replace them. To get a good pair of steel-toed shoes, $100 is like the minimum, and I really couldn't afford to get a new pair. So I decided to just grab some super glue and super glue them. And I figured it would be fine, it would hold, and nobody would even know. That was probably the worst decision I made in 2016, quite frankly. Yeah, so I decided I'm gonna super glue my shoes, and I had a brand new little tube of super glue, and all I had to do was open it and glue the shoe, and that was it, or so I thought. So the reason why I wanted to tell this story isn't like oh my god, I'm so stupid, you guys are gonna get a good giggle. It's actually like, I almost feel like it's like good public knowledge to know that this kind of thing can happen. Because honestly, until it happened to me, I never even would have thought about it when I was in the situation. So basically, I was, like I said, brand new tube of super glue, and you were supposed to, the lid was like, the lid had like you were supposed to like flip it, and it was almost like it had like a double side, and the top of it had like a little point, so that when you put it on upside down and you twist it, that little point would puncture the little tin cap. And I had tried it, and no matter how much I twisted it, it wasn't poking through. And when I took it off and looked at it, the little like point had been like bent. I was just so like desperate to open this super glue because I was like, I just need to fix my shoes. That's all I need to do. So I'm twisting this cap and twisting this cap, and nothing is working. And I'm just like at the point like, you know what? Forget this. So I literally was like, here's the cap, bye. And then I was like, you know what? Take a pen, and I stabbed it. So if you think about it, when I was turning the cap, I was squeezing the bottom of the tube. So when I stabbed it with the pen, the air that had already gathered up inside the tube forced super glue out and right into my eyeball. So that was the easy part. Getting it in there was the easy part. So once the super glue was in my eye, instantly like my eyes were both just crying. Like I wasn't crying, but my eyes were just bawling. And this one here was the one that I got the super glue in. And I literally remember sitting there and being like, I cannot open my eye. So I took my fingers and I went like this, because I wanted my eye to open. So my mom instantly got like a cold cloth, and we put that on it right away because it was like really, really swelling. Like it was swelling really badly, really fast. And my mom was like, I'm gonna call telehealth and you're gonna tell them what happened, and hopefully they can tell us what to do. I'm like, all right, fine. So she dials the number for telehealth, and I'm literally sitting there with a cold cloth on my eye on the phone, and I'm telling this lady, I'm like, so I super glued my eyes shut. And she goes, and why may I ask, did you do that? Oh, you know, I just meant to. But I was like, I was opening it, and I opened it in an idiotic way, and it popped up and got in my eye. So now I'm sitting here with a cloth on my eye. Please tell me how to fix my eye. She's like, I'm gonna put you on hold. I'm like, okay, fine. So she puts me on hold, and literally like the pain at this point is coming in like waves. So 1 minute it's like completely tolerable. The next minute it's like somebody just ripped my eye out so it will feel better, you know? And so she comes back on, she goes, I've talked to everybody in my office and nobody knows what to tell you. I was like, okay, so should I proceed to the emergency room? She goes, I think this is definitely emergency room worthy. I'm like, okay, cool. So my mom and I get in the car because I obviously can't drive. Get in the car, go up to the hospital, and I walk in. There's a room full of people. Like I'm telling you, there's probably like probably like 15 people in there. It's June, so people are probably having fires and stuff like that. And you have to think about all the injuries that can happen in the summer, soccer injuries and whatever else. There was so many people in the waiting room in the hospital. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait. There's no way. Literally, I checked in, and by the time I went to go sit down, they called my name. And we go by priority at my hospital. It probably is like that everywhere. But yeah, so we go by priority. So I guess one of the doctors was like, this is her eye. We need to get her in the hospital. So yeah, I got brought in, and of course I had to tell the doctor the story. And by the time that I got there, my eyelid had fused back to my eyeball. And so she had to like open it again, which sucked, by the way. So she did her little inspection and everything like that, and she determined that there was still a bit of super glue stuck to the inside of my eye, like both my eyelid and my eyeball. And this is where the squeamish part comes in, so feel free to fast forward 10 seconds if you need to, but basically my eyelid was glued to my eyeball. So basically when I opened my eyelid the first time, the skin from my eyelid got stuck to my eyeball. So the pain that I was feeling was actually like basically the salt water from my eyes in an open wound under my eyelid. What came next was, she's like, just because the super glue is not adhered to your eye like that anymore doesn't mean there isn't a chance you could still go blind. So I was like, okay, what do I have to do to not have that chance anymore? She goes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a bag of saline, yes, a whole bag, you know, like the ones that you see hanging in hospital shows, big bag of saline. She took this contact lens, put it in my eye, and drained an entire bag of saline, which is basically just like salt water, through my eye. And every time I closed my eye, it stopped the flow of the water. So it got to the point where like it hurt. It really, really hurt. And I couldn't even like, there was times when I would just try to like relax, like do my very best to relax and just let the water drain through. But it just hurt so bad that I just sometimes just couldn't help but to just scrunch my eyes closed. And when I did that, it would make the water, it would waste the water basically. And the doctor ended up coming over to me, and she's like, if I come back and you're squeezing your eyes like that, I'm going to put another bag through. How do you not? Like, honestly, eye pain to me, in my personal opinion, pain in my eyes is probably the worst pain ever. So it took them 2 hours to drain this full bag of saline through my eye. By the time it was done, my eye was like blown up. So once they eventually let me go home, they were like, all right, so basically what we're gonna do is, well, we're gonna send you home with an ice pack. You're gonna wanna put this ice pack on, and you're gonna wanna put drops in. Every time your eye hurts, you're gonna wanna put drops in or use the ice pack. I'm like, okay. So they're like, if you've used the eye drops in the past 2 hours, don't do that. Use the ice pack instead. I'm like, okay, that's not that hard to figure out. Kind of like going back and forth between Advil and Tylenol, right? Like, so I went home and I literally went straight to bed. I still had to work the next day, and I'm on day shift, right? So I still had to work the next day. And I honestly went home. My eye was so swollen. I could barely see when my eye was open. And so I went to bed, and when I woke up, it was only like 2 in the morning. Like, I barely slept. Like, I went to bed at like 1:30 and woke up at like 2:30. And I was like, oh my God, I can barely open my eye. I literally get up and go to the bathroom, and I look at my face, and my entire, like, pretty much the entire left side of my face is just red and blotchy. So I left the voicemail at work just saying I won't be there, this is why. And I went back to my room and sat on my bed, and instantly I was like, somebody is going to pick up the phone and hear me say I won't be at work today because I super glued my eye shut. I'm never living this down. Like, officially, I'm never living it down. And so, yeah, of course, time went on. I just continued to go back and forth between eye drops, ice pack, and like Tylenol, Advil, whatever. And I went to work the next day. My eye was still irritated. It was still very, very like sensitive, but it wasn't like out to here anymore. So I went to work and my supervisor walks up to me and she goes, "So I've got to ask you about the validity of your phone call." I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "It's not every day somebody calls in with a reason of I super glued my eye shut, and I was told to come here and ask you if you had any proof." And I was like, "Luckily for you, I love to document the shit that happens in my life." So yeah, I pulled up a couple photos of my face and my eye, and she's like, "Okay, no more questions." Yeah, one thing I ended up with permanently from this whole situation is, if you look in my eye right there, I have a blood vessel looking thing that will never go away because that is where the glue was. If I can get closer, I will. I've got right there. And that will never, ever, ever go away. It's permanent from my glue experience. And just a little FYI, I have gone to the eye doctor since. I actually went to the eye doctor in the fall. So it was 2019. It was 3 years later. But I did go to the eye doctor and she said that other than that one blood vessel, she doesn't see any permanent damage from this situation. I was very, very lucky in that way. Because I can still see, first of all. But she did say that I might have some muscular damage, but like as far as vision, she doesn't see any chances that I'll go blind from this situation, or that I'll lose my eye. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good news. At least that's what I think anyway. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.